Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about my Section 1 book, Rocket Science for Babies by Chris Ferrari. Rocket Science for Babies starts off by talking about a ball that is moving, and it explains how air can't go through the ball, but it can go around the ball. And this will be a common theme throughout the book, because Chris shows different examples of what happens when you change the angle, and this will be a common theme throughout the book because Chris would then go on to show what happens when you change the angle of the ball, how the airflow around the ball would change. So for example, Chris changed the angle of the ball and show how the air would flow around the ball based on how you change the angle. Chris would then go to show an example of how changing the angle of the ball would change the air around it. Chris showed if the air goes down, the angle and the shape of the ball would go up, and vice versa. After showing the different ways that the air flows by changing the angle of the ball, the author then shows why a ball has no lift compared to a wing, which is the angle or the different shape that he turned the ball into. After that, he would show the picture of the ball that he changed the angle of, and he would show it how it is the shape of a wing. He would then put that exact same ball on a rocket, and this help shows how the angle of the ball helps the air around the angle push up the rocket and allows the rocket to fly. And this will be shown even further because once the author puts the wing on the spaceship, he would then talk about if the rocket ship runs out of fuel, it would still go forward because of the wings are pushing it forward. But if the rocket ship has fuel and it has the wings, it would go even faster because the angle of the wings is pushing it forward, as well as the fuel is pushing it. So it would go even faster because you have the wings pushing it forward as well as the fuel pushing it forward. And that's how the author chose to end the book, by building the rocket ship with the ball as the wings, and having that rocket ship fly to outer space and saying that we are now rocket scientists. And that's how the book would end. Most of the book's pictures were pictures of the ball and how the air flows around the ball, as well as whenever he changed the angle of the ball, how the air would flow according to how he changed the angle of the ball. Pictures will also show how the fuel pushes the rocket ship away, as well as how the angle of the wings help push the rocket ship forward into outer space, as well as the final picture being a picture of the Earth and the rocket flying to the moon, as well as it has like the rocket's course around the moon circling around. And on the other side, on the other side of the page, it has a picture of the sun, and inside the sun it says, "Congratulations, you are now a rocket scientist." I believe the genre of this book is nonfiction informational, as this book is non-fictional and it talks about rocket science. One quote that I guess I can take from this book would be at the very end. It said, "Congratulations, you are now a rocket scientist." I feel like that might be encouraging to kids to learn more about this specific topic, because they might see that as like, wow, it's that easy, it's not that hard. And they might feel a sense of pride that they learned something new about science. In my opinion, this book had a couple of different strengths as well as some different weaknesses. I feel like this book, it was able to explain complicated ideas very, very simply, but I feel like that is also a weakness of this book because it doesn't go in depth as to why. But I feel like that is important because it is a kindergarten grade level book. So I feel like it kind of cancels it out in that sense. But I feel like it was very, very simplified, which I feel like would greatly benefit the kids that are supposed to be reading this kind of book. Another one of my knocks on this book would be that it's very short, and I didn't feel like. Another knock on this book would be that it's very short, and I feel like it could be extended a little bit more to maybe explain a little bit more in detail about how some of the stuff works. I think this book could be used in a classroom setting if we were doing something more along the lines of rocket scientists, or like anything that involves like, or anything that involves, I feel like this book can be used in a classroom setting whenever we're doing any kind of science or anything that like revolves around rockets, or if we are like studying the moon landing and outer space, we can use this book as kind of like an entry into that kind of topic. But I feel as if it won't really be as effective because of the grade level. In kindergarten, we're not really learning about outer space. One activity that I think we could probably use to one activity that I think I could implement to go along with this book would be a drawing, kind of like a drawing assignment where I have all my kids draw a rocket ship, and they can change the angle of the different wings on the rocket ship, and they can draw where the air would be flowing on the rocket ship because of the different angles of the wings. And this can be very useful in showing the kids like what they learned, like, hey, the angle is this way, and in the book it said if the angle is this way, it goes this way. And this could help further their information about rocket sciences and why the air gets pushed the way that it does. And yeah, that concludes my presentation. If you guys have any questions or anything about the book, or any questions that you would want me to elaborate further on about my presentation, I will answer all questions in the replies of this. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day.